What's up, y'all? You are now tapped into That's What I'm Saying, the Grown Folks podcast for hip hop, entertainment, dating, sex, relationships, and social issues from a sometimes ratchet but mostly woke perspective. So I'm Shaun.
And I'm Shatara.
Hey,
Yeah,
sis.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey now, hey. Hey, y'all. Really quick, I got to just put this out there. Please follow That's What I'm Saying in your podcast app and turn on automatic downloads. It's free and it helps us keep making the show. Also, if you would like to be a show sponsor, use a Linktree link in the notes and select Become a Sponsor. It's right there.
Also, y'all, we are everywhere. So our podcast home is on Acast and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can also find us on YouTube and YouTube Music. And you can watch us weekdays on Island TV or just download the Island TV app. And if you want to be a guest on the show, have a question for the weekend, Z Report, leave us a voicemail. Go to our Linktree. That's Linktree/TwizPod. Scroll to the bottom and leave us a voice message.
Family, we built a very special members corner on Supercast, and it is only $4.99. I'm gonna say it again, $4.99. Nowadays, what is $4.99? Nothing.
Not a thing.
Right, it ain't nothing. Go to the dollar store, and you'd be like, "Did I just spend
They got some
$3?"
$4.99 stuff in the dollar store.
Girl,
How
buy
dare
that.
them?
Don't get me started.
Mhm.
So you'll get access to a monthly show, a live show with Q&A with us. You know who we are, the sisters, and exclusive access to the private TwistPod fam Facebook group where our TwistPod fam members get to vote on topics for our future shows, shout outs, behind the scenes, all of it. So hit the link in the notes to join TwistPod Live.
And also follow us on Instagram at TwizPod. And if you are a brand looking to get more exposure for your product or service, tap our link tree and hit sponsor us, and we're going to get back to you in a few minutes. So, all right, family, let's get it. But first of all, Shatara, what are we calling this episode?
Yes. Okay. We're calling this episode Government F Government, Ninjas Politic They Selves. That is the censored
Can I say it?
version.
I'm going to
That's
say
a
it.
little Jay-Z line. Hit it.
Yo, it was government, fuck government. Niggas politic themselves. Well, we call the cops at 18 because they hop out of vans and spray
Spray
things. Your life
things.
expectancy so low, we making our wheels at 18.
18. All right. All
Okay,
right.
so sorry.
We in there. All right. That was not the name of the whole episode. However,
You just had to. I mean,
it's been all about politics. This it has been a
mhm,
time. So that brings us right to
mhm.
the ratchet. That brings us to the ratchet.
Go ahead. But is this really ratchet? I mean, all right. So we know
Well,
that
it's something
Mamdani.
new happening. It's new.
Yeah. Well,
It's new
so
news.
Zohran Mamdani. Is that his name? Zohran Mamdani.
Yeah.
He was reelected to the New York State Assembly. So it's kind of cool because he's been all over social media. This is New York politics that we're talking about. But of course, New York politics is the US politics, is everybody's politics,
That's
right?
crazy.
So Mamdani, I want to say his name right.
hmm
He's been really shaking up Queens. He's been reelected to the New York State Assembly. And, this has been a big deal. He's been all over social media because he is a part of this younger wave of lawmakers, very progressive. He's pro working class, he's pro tenant. We know New York what that landlord tenant mess that's going on in New York is ridiculous. But
Don't make
he's
sense.
he's pro tenants, and he's also not afraid to call out the corporate power. So it's been this has been really interesting watching. I mean, I didn't seen him on Instagram at house parties. I've
hmm
seen him on the mic
hmm
talking about his jam, his music.
Turn it
So
up. Turn
I
it
mean,
up. That's the
the
thing.
whole thing. So,
What
and
do you have to say?
I
Turn
think
it
I've
up.
even seen him rapping. Like, I feel
No,
like I've seen a video. No, I'm telling you,
I believe.
I've seen a video of him rapping, like in the
Uh-huh.
streets, like freestyling. So, a little bit about him. He represents Astoria, Queens.
hmm
He's a Democratic socialist. So they're really about, they think like the government should be working for everyday people, not the landlords, not the corporations.
hmm
He's also very interesting, the son of filmmaker Mira Nair. So Mira
hmm
Nair did Mississippi Masala. Wasn't that the
Yep.
movie with Denzel Washington
Denzel
and
Washington.
the Indian
Yep.
lady?
And the Indian
Right?
woman, they fell in love. Yep.
Yes, and his father is the Ugandan historian Mahmoud Mamdani, which
Hmm.
I went down my little rabbit hole because I wanted to figure out who this person was. So his father, Mahmoud, is actually is originally from Bombay, India, but there was this whole movement back in the 1940s where a lot of the Indians went to, what do they call it? they were taken or they went to work in basically in Uganda in some of the African countries. And so his father was a part of that whole movement. So his father, originally born in India but was raised in Uganda. So he's this Mamdani, he comes from this really like global intellectual black Southeast Asian activist lineage, which is kind of cool, right?
You know what I'm thinking?
What do you think?
He's giving me vibes of Shine. I
Interesting.
don't. It's giving me,
I see what
because
you
right,
mean. I see what you mean.
the
Mhm.
minister of police, and just having that background, and
Mhm.
somehow, being very current to today. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's giving me a little Shine vibes. I don't know.
I see that. I can see that. So Mamdani is one of his basic platforms is about housing rights. So he's really
Hmm.
been pushing for laws that stop evictions and protecting the tenants because we know New York City rent is wild for the night
Hmm.
and the morning. It's crazy. He's also been very vocal on Palestinian rights, and he's criticized the political establishment regarding the Israel Palestine stuff that's going on. So really, really, really interesting. So one of the things that was coming out was 50 Cent, and I love 50, but
He's a
he
troller.
got huh?
He's a
He's a
troller.
he's a
He's a
troller
troller.
to through and through.
Mm,
So
mm, mm.
because Mamdani represents a lot of anti old guard.
Mhm,
New York. I'm thinking. Remember Ed Koch? I was around for Ed Koch.
mhm.
David Dinkins, first black mayor in New York
Dinkins.
City. I remember running into David Dinkins when I was a little girl on 125th Street. I guess he was out campaigning.
I was with you.
I think were you with me?
I feel
And
like I
I
was with
and I
you.
ran into him. Like I
Mhm,
ran right into him.
mhm.
That was and he was so tall to me. Like he was
I
such
remember
such a
that.
big guy. Do you remember
Mhm.
that?
I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah, and then
were we with
he was out, and we were with, I think
were
we
we
were
with
with our
granddaddy
grandmother
or
or maybe
Ninny? Were we with
granddaddy.
Oh, okay. Yep.
One of them, but I
Mhm.
remember meeting David Dick. So anyway, so that Bloomberg, Giuliani, think Cuomo, like that's the old guard. So Mamdani is anti, how New York politics have been run for at least
He
50,
said,
100
"Let's
years.
cut it." He said, "Cut the shit." Basically,
Yeah.
let's cut the shit. Let's cut the
So
shit.
okay, but then you got 50 who, he's been on he's he perfects his troll game. You gotta give it to 50. So 50 Cent was discussing the tax increase that Mamdami is pushing, for the rich.
Right.
And 50 Cent is saying, basically this he's gotta go. Like he's not happy about it, especially about the taxes. So and 50 got a lot of heat for that, which he should, because this is somebody that, I mean, come on, 50.
Hated or love it. Isn't he hated or love it? And
I
he grew
mean,
up from the bottom.
yeah, right? Didn't they call him Booby back in the day or whatever they used to call him? Like, I mean, I, I don't know. I don't know. What you think
Wasn't he
about that?
growing up confused? My mama kissing the girl. Was that him? Was that?
That was it. I would have got,
What was he? I love you like a fat kid love cake. Like, it just sounds more like you understand the struggle. You know what it is to get it from the bottom up.
you would
So
think. Right.
yeah, you would think. So it's nice to say like I'm here now. That's nice to be like I'm here now. However, it's also
Hmm.
it's good to be humble as well and to recognize that. So you can actually be a representative of somebody who knows. Don't get me wrong. He's great with the filmmaking. He's great with all these shows
Hmm.
he's busting out. I got to give it to him. 50 Cent Entertainment is on fire. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Hmm.
Buying out Ja Rule's tickets, stuff like that. But technically, you're just showing like you do have enough money to help those in need. That's it. And
Hmm.
if you're in another tax bracket, which is it's
Which
a
he
blessing
is.
within itself, clearly,
Hmm.
clearly. What son, how are you mad, son? How are you
Yeah.
mad? You are
Yeah.
just now in a different caliber of having to give. That's it. And having it to give.
Yeah, don't be tone deaf because from
Yes.
my understanding, 50 was very adamant about some of the things that Mamdani was pushing, like defunding the police, and when you're talking about taxing or taxing the businesses and the high income earners,
Hmm.
which 50 is obviously a part of, but
Yeah.
I mean, 50 was just kind of going in like, I don't know, bro,
Who
I
is
don't
this guy? Who is this guy? And it's
know.
like, that's not fair. I just feel like that's not fair. Like you should You should kind of be like, I'm
Now,
proud.
don't you the underdog, hated to love it, the underdog's on top? Didn't you say that?
Yeah, yeah. Get rich or die trying. Like, isn't that your motto?
I
So
don't know.
I'm glad you shot for the stars and you made it. Like, so that's great. But it just doesn't sound very humble. That's
But
all.
don't
Just
forget where you came from, dude.
I,
And
I love
I
you like a
love
fat kid loves cake, but maybe he needs to eat some humble pie.
that part.
Mm. You got a dimple because you got a bullet wound. So things like that just kind of you would think would humble a person in this
You
life.
know, somebody got shot. You got shot 9 times,
And
and now you want some brand new. Okay.
so that's all. Just
Mhm.
I don't want you to be eating humble pie, sir. I like the fat kid love cake. Keep it that way. But when you talk
Mhm.
that way, life will humble you. We talk about it for all the years we've been doing the show. We have some testimonies on people that karma has come
Sure.
back to them. We're like,
Sure do.
an update. Did you hear an update? Like life?
Sure
Yeah.
do. Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
I
All
mean,
right.
if you have $40 billion hypothetically, and the tax man comes and says, "Hey, listen, we need to kind of use, let's say,
Half of that.
300,000 of that." I don't know, hypothetically, mind you, we're talking. You got billions. Is that really going to hurt you?
No, but even half of that. If somebody said, "Well, half," I'm just,
Break it up. You can't spend it in your life without giving. Without giving, you personally,
exactly. Who I was just thinking about. Uh, what's the name that owns Amazon? His ex-wife.
white
What
man.
is Jamie? What is her name? Anyway,
Hmm.
she just. I mean, if she is just giving her money,
I
giving her
love to
money
hear
away,
that.
and I love. She gave. I don't know if it was 40 billion or $300 million to HBCU, something like that, like something astronomical. She's been given.
Oh yes, I just read that. She
Hmm.
gave to the HBCU. It was a lot of money with a big
Yeah,
smile, just smiling.
and I love that. And I
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Jeff Bezos'
Jeff
ex-wife.
Jeff
It's the
Jeff
ex-wife.
Pasta.
But I volunteer for Meals on Wheels, and
We
she is
know.
right here in South Florida, and she is one of the biggest donors for
Mm.
keeping Meals on Wheels afloat.
Mackenzie
That's her. Yes.
Mackenzie.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Just like give it all away, give it all away. Because then actually, and what the sentiment is like, it's not enough lifetimes for me to spend this money on my own. So
On
why
your
not give
own.
it away?
Yeah. But I guess it has to be like, where's your heart and your mind at? Your heart and your mind have to meet somewhere. Somewhere,
Hmm.
because shoot, I wouldn't care if you said I give it all to the kids in the hospital at a hospice center near my like whatever it is, just to be able to
Right.
give from the heart, something. And it's unfortunate that if let's say 50 Cent is a big giver, it's not going to be televised the way that Jeff Bezos' ex-wife is all in our face in the media. Like I feel like sometime when black people are big givers, it's not really publicized as much.
This is true. I
So
just hope that
if
he is giving.
say what now?
I just hope that he is
That's what
giving.
I'm saying. So if he is, hey, 50, come find me. I hope you're listening to the podcast. Shut me down and shut me up, honey. Show me those new teeth in that dimple. Let me check me. Let me know. Come
You
find
said
me.
he got a dimple because of a bullet wound. Ooh,
Come find me. I'm here at Twist Pod or on your local
okay,
stage.
twist
Come
spot.
find me. I would love to
Okay,
be checked by 50. I give a lot.
all right.
Anywho, but so Mondani was the winner for New York, but
Mhm.
our winner for New Jersey is Mikey Sherrill. So she won the race for New Jersey, Garden State.
Mhm.
She's the second woman governor. A little bit about her: she's a former Navy helicopter pilot and a federal prosecutor. And immediately I thought about like, oh, okay, Kamala Harris, Attorney General of California. Okay. Our previous woman who we had that served 2 terms was Christine Whitman. So she was 1994 to 2001. So we
Wow.
yeah, can you believe that? So Whitman was up in there.
Ooh.
And yeah, she's the first Democratic woman to hold office
Yeah,
here. This
because
Mikey Sherrill.
she was in office when I was in
See?
school.
But let me tell you something funny. This is a Teaneck thing. When I heard the name Mikey Sherrill, I think of this guy that's from Teaneck named Mikey Terrell. And I
Mm.
just thought, oh, Mikey Terrell's running when I heard it in the background. Anybody from Teaneck knows. I just busted out laughing. I was like, where's that guy? Who knows where that guy is today? But turn the TV up. Hold on a minute. Oh, Mikey Sherrill. Oh, I thought it was Mikey Terrell. Anybody
Mm.
from
And
Teaneck?
it's a woman.
And it's a woman too. I thought it was Mikey Terrell.
Mm,
Hilarious. Anyway,
mm,
enough about that. Really quick, I saw there was a post, and actually you sent it to me, and it was a little interesting.
mm.
Amy, her name is Luciani, giving marital advice after almost ending her marriage with Dwight Howard.
Oh, okay. I didn't. I think I sent it to you, but I didn't see it. So what was the?
Okay, so she technically she was reading her own rights, just saying like, ladies, the one thing you don't do is like, don't tell your friends like when you have problems, because she was saying
Mhm.
like we were young people in a new marriage, and that's like the number one rule, like don't go talking to your girlfriends about everything. She was talking about the fact that
Oh, okay.
black she was like, black men, just for the record, black successful men do marry black successful women, so we got to talk about it, we got to unpack that, because the way it's looking is like they don't marry us. She's like, and the one thing, that's always going to be reminding him of his mother or his household is that neck roll we got. She was like, we got this neck roll going on. And I was like, okay, if you say so, we got to get the neck roll going. But
Hear me over here, like, but did she
hmm.
talk about that? Can okay. The what?
So
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
I'm coming full circle. I'm coming, making my
Help,
way
help
downtown.
me, please. Help me.
Come on
Help me,
now,
please.
Jesus Christ, I'm coming. So it was a lot of self checking and kind of check in with yourself before you jump at your man. Check in with yourself and evaluate the circumstances and stuff like that. And it sounded like a lot of growth, personal growth on her part.
Okay.
So I'm taking it and I'm like, okay. And then I shook my head and I was like, but wasn't Dwight Howard the one who? And I'll
Was
let
a
you finish that
trisexual?
sentence.
Hmm. Who was a trisexual? He
That
tried
was
everything,
that
right?
was that was I was
And
thinking,
was proud of it. Like, damn it.
I was scratching my head. I was like, wait a minute. Isn't he the one who? And I was like, I knew you were gonna finish that sentence.
Was a trisexual. I think he said that. Somebody said it. I don't know. I was just.
Right?
She didn't say anything about that.
Well, that was just the clip. And it was almost like she was doing like a short little TikTok, putting on her makeup, like, listen, ladies, like I almost ended my own marriage. And I
But
was
they
like,
are getting
oh,
divorced, right?
sounds like they're doing okay. I was confused. 6 months in, she was about to end the whole thing.
Oh, okay. I am. I just.
Anywho,
There's a meme. It was like, I am confusing. I am
so wait.
confused. I am
So
confuser. I am
what was the
confuso.
word? He
Confusion.
was he was all over the place. He said he liked
Yeah, well,
everybody, right?
I mean, he had the transsexual, and instead of hiding it, he sat and told his truth. I thought like he was like, yeah, I'm a freaky dude, and I like all kind of stuff, and
No.
shut everybody up. Like, well, then, okay, then.
Okay, so
Basically saying, because I think it was a whole like he was getting sued, by
men.
the
Wasn't that
man.
the whole
Yeah,
case?
he
Wait,
instead of say he was like it was consensual.
so she was saying
Lord have
she was
mercy.
almost she was almost going to file for divorce. Almost going to file for
And it
divorce
wasn't over that. It wasn't over his freakiness.
after 6 months of marriage. So clearly, looks to me, yes, Dwight Howard and his wife Amy Luciani are back together after both filing for divorce in July.
All right. Okay. All right.
And she said that her decision was stupid and silly. She's been posting photos of
Mm.
them being affectionate, blah 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 blah. Oh, and you know what? I remember there was a body type of him in the Foot Locker years ago.
Yes, I do
And
remember.
I just remember it was like
I
like the
do recall.
mannequin, and he was just looking like
Hmm.
Zeus, kind of like, and I'd be like, ooh, boy, Jesus. Ooh. They'd be like, man, what size sneaker would you like? I'd be like, I would like, oh, it was such a nice, it was just a blacker
Hmm.
man in the front of Foot Locker. And then they were like, guess what? He likes what you like. I said, what? They said, that big man right there, he likes what you like. I said, what? I said, what I like? They said, dick. I said, oh, I ran. To the left, to the right. Oh, what?
I just I was so surprised to see his wife first of all get married to him, and then make a video about staying with him. Like, I
Yeah, she
just
said it was going to be silly of her to leave, and
mm, not my circus, not my monkeys. That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah, so that was interesting, right? But do
Yeah,
you remember the mannequin that they had of him because he was
I
such
do. I do remember. Like he was like a yeah. I do remember.
he had
I think it
he
was Foot Locker.
the
Perfect
height, the
example and
body, yes.
specimen.
He was supposed to be like all health fit and just and I was like, wow,
Yeah,
that's a man. And
not really
then
though, but I guess so. But maybe
but
not. I don't
that
know.
I'm just saying the makeup and the whole
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow.
I'm still stuck on his front stoop confession that he did.
Listen,
Where he was like, I like what I like.
I like big butts. I cannot lie.
He was like,
He
it
did a
was
Sir Mix a lot.
consensual. I like all of it.
I
All
like
of it.
all of it. I'm here for the shit. No thanks. So yeah, so that's what made me like when his wife was talking about how she was about to make a stupid decision by divorcing him.
Interesting.
And I was
Interesting.
and I just it just wasn't in the front of my mind of like, now what is the story with him? Because I remember it was some shit. And there it was. Ah, the shit. Remember
It
Tales
came
from the
back up.
Hood? Ah, the shit.
It came back up. All
Speaking
right.
of the shit, there's okay, I'm just gonna bounce around with this one. Have you seen Ashanti lately?
A little bit. Yeah, I saw some clips of her on YouTube.
Okay, so
Hmm.
she's 45 years old and she
Loving it.
celebrated her
Love that for
birthday with her
her.
husband Nelly in Barbados.
Hmm.
And they're coming for her because she's a bigger girl than she was before. Now we know she's a mom now. So everybody would say, you better leave her alone. I had to see for
That's right.
myself.
Hmm.
And she's a little more in the Lane Bryant department.
Okay. That's not, I
I want to
mean,
be, she's still amazing. She's still beautiful. She's like she's having a good time.
hmm
And that's all I got. So I just want to tell, people like, damn, like give that woman a break. Like she turned 45. She still looks amazing. She still got her hits. Like Nelly's loving on her. But it was just one of those,
yeah.
like, I had to see for myself. I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah. Food is
Yeah.
good. I get it. And I
Well,
guess,
the food is good and life is good. And you
and
know
having a
what?
baby at 45, it probably wasn't the easiest thing. So,
God bless her. I mean, I don't know, and just like like the average woman, her weight goes up and down. So I haven't seen the new Ashanti, but leave her be, man. Oh, I did see right now.
hey, now, see, did you hear your little, oh, you dipped a little bit. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, you know,
she was great. But it's fair
she
to say that
does.
she is bigger though.
She's a big girl. She's officially a big girl
Well,
now.
I just say Lane Bryant. She's a little more in the Lane Bryant.
Bosh Dara. Well, I did say
Hello, come
Lady
back.
Bryant.
Let, I
But
think,
I love this for her. I do. I love this for her because she actually looks happy.
and she has a song called Happy too. Don't you know?
I know.
Yeah. So I did see a short little video of Tony, who was someone, I don't know if she was married to D'Angelo before he passed away, but she
I
goes
think
on
it was a
about his
girlfriend.
hiatus, the girlfriend, the hiatus, and how he was in depression and he was battling with his weight. So just to kind of go off of, I'm glad that we have Ashanti here. She's happy, she's in love, and we see it. Obviously, some people front for the gram, but we see it so far. Versus
Mhm.
D'Angelo, who we just recently lost, and he was battling with. She said he had his all his awards in boxes, and he was constantly beating himself up. And it's like, wow, you never know because the "How Does It Feel" video versus,
He invented the V. Remember the V?
yep, I didn't even.
Every girl I know
Woo, woo.
wanted to know
What was
what
you was at the
was
TV like
your
this?
V. Yep.
You were
Everybody.
trying to see what was what.
We were like, oh, I see a pubic hair. Oh, guess what? That was man. And I think at some point they had to play it at night. Like you couldn't play that video during the day. They
Midnight Love.
played it at
It was
night.
on Midnight Love, BT.
Ooh, I just want to be a man. Ooh.
Man,
That
yes.
V, man. Ooh, right there. Ooh. I felt it. I was in love with that V. That V. The V
Ugh.
that led to the D. The V.
So much so, I remember Usher's video. You don't have to call. He was in the closet looking for clothes, and he made sure he showed the V. It's okay, girl. I was like, oh. I like
Oh
that.
man.
That is, if you
Whew.
got abs and then you got this here, that is really
Mm,
that's a flex.
sure is. Oh goodness. Hey, man.
I
Mm,
know, I know. So
yeah.
he had that. So imagine him feeling like my V is gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And and that it remind
It
it
takes
reminds
work.
me of John Candy, which it's I Like Me, which is the new
I'm gonna watch it.
documentary. Please watch
I'm
it.
gonna watch.
I
I'm
sat
gonna catch
here
it.
in tears and I laughed hard. Like, for a time he ruled the television, like all the
I
shows.
love John Candy. I
Right.
love
You did
him.
especially.
Oh, I love
I was
John
asking one
Candy.
of our sisters and I was like, no, it was you that
I
loved John
love John
Candy.
Candy. Yes.
Man, what a comedic genius. What a genius. And it was so funny because that whole show, no one could say anything bad about him. Like, they were like, you're going to be hard pressed finding somebody to say anything bad about him because he was genuinely such a good guy.
Yeah.
But the thing was, he not necessarily it was about his weight so
Hmm.
much. For him it was about his self-esteem. He
Mm.
battled with low self-esteem his life, which was, people around him was like, you would think, he's well renowned, he's out his money, he's funny, people love him, but he still couldn't come to terms with his own self-image. So just talking about D'Angelo reminds me of
Mm.
what I saw in the documentary about John Candy. Like, it don't matter what nobody else says about
Yes.
you. It's what
Right.
you feel about you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
Yeah.
why we're writing our book, y'all. But I'm just a shameless plug. So, um, yeah.
So you want some more?
Yeah, let's do it.
Some more Rechita. So
That's it.
Stephon Diggs, NFL player Stephon Diggs, he's having a baby with Cardi B. And I know we talked about this the last episode. And
Is he the
Cardi
only
B
one having a
was
baby with Cardi B? Is he
what,
having a
say what
baby with
now?
somebody? Is
How
he
was
having
that?
a is he is he having a baby? Is she the only one pregnant right now
Well, that's
with
what
his
I'm getting
baby?
to. He's
Okay.
having many a babies.
Oh, the
He's
baby.
having a plethora of babies. He's
Cornucopia of babies.
gonna have an arsenal of babies.
Oh.
So
Oh.
he's been getting busy. So Cardi has a baby with Offset, right? Is it
So that, huh?
is it Offset? I mean
Yeah,
her
yeah, yeah.
ex husband.
They're
That's
divorced.
Offset.
Mhm.
Okay, so she was at a game. I think it was like this morning. They showed it. Cardi was at one of his games. She looked great. They announced that they're having, if I'm not too mistaken, they're having a boy, and he's also having a
Mhm.
baby with. I'm not even going to name them. A couple other women. So Cardi had addressed the announcement saying that like you having a baby with him, I'm having a baby with him too, girl. Like, and of course, Cardi's so funny, but she addressed the elephant in the room by saying that, yeah, like you having a baby with him, I'm having one too, girl. We both have, but it just made Cardi look like a knucklehead. Folks are
Okay.
looking, and it's just
That's the part
like,
I wanted to hear. What
yeah, well, it wasn't
not
a
that I
matter of
want
like,
I love Cardi to
I
look like
like
a
Cardi too.
knucklehead,
She's
but
funny, but this isn't funny anymore. So it's just kind of like, somebody said she didn't date up in terms of getting with him. Like, girl, it looked like you got another Offset. Like you got yourself with another Offset. You're back in the game with the same character, just on a different field.
mhm.
And what? So this is gonna be her third child because her and
This is
Offset
her
have two.
4th. This will be her 4th.
Is this four?
Right? Because she had a break baby with the husband with Offset, the third one,
Culture?
while they were getting the divorce. Remember? That was the third one. And now this is the 4th baby. She's back to back with babies.
No. Okay, I was thinking
Yes.
that this was her third.
Keep up. She about to be the female future. For real, for
Okay.
real.
Okay. So and this one that she has is just not with. So she has three with her ex husband,
Right.
and then she has one with Stefan Diggs
She's about to
coming.
have one with Stefan Diggs.
And
And
this
he is about to be the baby that I thought to what, two or three other women.
other so
I don't know.
that's so when you really look at the bigger picture of this, in my adult mind, I'm thinking that's a lot of raw sex happening.
Ooh, right?
It's
Mm,
it's a whole
sounds
it could
messy.
have been STD, but it's a baby. Babies
You
are
know what?
just
And I love Cardi, but I am just,
I don't
you know what? And it's not my life. It ain't my life.
I
But this
know.
is why we are writing a book, because these are the things. Like, she's young, she's a mother, and she's got her senses about her. But when I listen to her album, did you listen to the new album?
I just know the song about feeling safe.
I
It's the
you
best I
know and
got.
I listen to it and I feel like You can hear it. She's hurt and she's angry. A
But
lot
did
of
you
it.
see her talk about that with Kelly Rowland?
I did. I watched the
Like, and
interview.
and I liked her for that. She was like, "Oh, girl," like, and she did say that she
Mhm.
like couldn't get out of bed. She couldn't look at her baby's faces. Like, she was really
Mhm.
hurt. Like, I felt her for that. I was like, "Damn!" Like, I see that. And this gentleman that she's with clearly brought her into a different ray of light of life. However, it just also reminded me,
Did he
like,
have to put a baby in her while he's
it
giving
it,
her all
it
this
just
life
reminded me that Cardi's
right
young.
now?
Like she's how old is she? She's still 20 something. She hasn't hit
No,
30
is
yet,
she in her
right?
30s? No, I think she's in her 30s.
No, I think Cardi might be 27. Can we
Ah,
give her the
she's
still
33.
she oh shit. Well,
Yeah, she's 33.
you told me.
Mm-hmm.
You told me occur.
Occur?
Shit. Okay, here I am giving her 27 because I was thinking like these are like young girl
Right.
moves.
These are young girl moves.
That's why oh damn it, Cardi. See?
No, this
And
is a
that's the
mother
thing.
of
Like
about to be 4 kids.
if you about and I think what this is like, if you out there and you are get back on your I got my swagger back, like I'm
Mm,
not married no more, then the evidence of who you fucking doesn't have to be a thing. Like you don't need evidence. You need
right.
evidence out here
You
in
don't
these
need no
streets.
residue.
Kids is evidence. Kids is a fact, a
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact of
Mm-hmm. They the residue.
who you been fucking. The residue for real. The residue residents. That's
Yep.
they are the telling factors of what you've been doing. So it's just like, damn, she got caught up on that one. And children are a beautiful thing, pray she has healthy kids. But I'm like, damn. And then your kids are already intertwined with how many other kids that he's having. It makes me think of Mariah Carey. I really didn't think Mariah Carey thought her kids with Nick Cannon was gonna have 19 other siblings.
Well, I'm sure she didn't think that, but at least, Mariah was first. Like, then she had the first kids. They was out the way cuz all the other 12, 13 of them came after the twins, after
They
Mariah.
did. They did. They did. And that was just like, oh, Mariah and Nick. Like, where'd that come from? That was just a
Mhm.
what? She knocked her
Mhm.
kids out.
I
And
don't
next thing you
know,
know, he
man.
was like,
I don't know.
he said, I'm going to have a prairie of children. I'm going to have a wild and out crew of kids. That's what Nick said. But that's it seems like a lot of men are going that direction. They're
I don't
dropping
know
baby
why.
bombs.
I don't know why. I don't
I
know.
don't know why. Also, Blueface is out of prison.
Every time we
So,
talk about this dude,
well,
I'm
this
gonna
is
use
the
my
thing. I
microphone.
had to look at him and I said,
First of all,
he's a
who is
nice
he?
looking,
Do you
he's
listen to his music?
absolutely not, but he has such nice teeth. That's a nice looking guy.
Did he buy his teeth or are
No, they
they
look like his mom probably got him some braces when he was young, but he has a nice
okay?
smile. Like he's a nice looking
Look at
dude.
the
I was
things they
like,
talk to.
look at this kid.
I don't know if it was my algorithm. Damn the algorithm, but there was a time when it was like all I saw was him. Like everywhere I turned, it was about
Blueface.
Blueface. Blueface cartoons, Blueface characters, people dressed up as Blueface, Blueface talk. It was just, and
Well,
I
what's
I cannot even tell you a song that
that's
he
what I was gonna
sings.
say. Can you tell me a song? Can you sing us a
Mm-mm.
song?
No,
The blues. It's the blues.
I don't know. And
I don't
and
know.
Krishan and obviously this is where I have to show my age. Like I'm not interested.
I'm not in the know. I will say this with these boppers. I'm just Biggie, Jay Z, Nas for life. Fabulous is up there. Mob Deep. I can just tell you my rappers, and I'm just very. I'm happy Busta Rhyme is still relevant and he's still rocking because I can go on
Mhm.
and on. I'm very stuck in my day, and I feel like we are the best, and I'm very biased because of a little
Yeah, yeah,
biased. I'm
yeah.
a little biased. Some may get my attention for a little bit, like, okay, that's catchy, but
Mm-mm. Do you know what he was in jail for? Real quick, Blueface.
was it attempted murder? Did
I
he have
don't
a
know.
weapon,
That's
a
why I was like,
gun?
I don't know. Let
Oh, I
me
thought you
let
were
me
gonna tell
know.
me. I thought you were quizzing me. Like, did you
No,
know?
I was asking because I didn't even know he was in jail.
He did some time.
Yeah, he did. He
Uh,
came home. I don't know. Can we? I don't even. I'm not even interested.
you don't want to get into it. Well, he looks better. Looks like jail did him right.
Good, good
Because
for
his
him.
old picture, yeah, he's a nice looking kid. Released from prison after serving 2 year sentence. What did he do?
That Diddy time went by real fast. 2 years.
Well, they said Diddy's in Fort Dix, and they caught pictures of him out in the yard making friends.
I saw smiling and
Smiling a little,
sniggling out on the yard,
cackling.
or kikiing it up.
I mean, we're laughing, but that's what he requested. Remember last time we reported he
Hmm.
was
Yeah,
requesting to go to Fort Dix
over there
because
in
he can
South Jersey.
get in his the rehab program and be a little bit lighter for him, and they did it.
Good. Yeah,
What you got?
taste in my mouth. Okay. No, are we done with the ratchet minute?
Well, really, one more ratchet thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Did you hear what Paul Pierce said on the podcast? He said that if you want to find out if your girlfriend really loves you, go cheat on her and see how she reacts. If this is not a chapter,
Now, let me right
there
in
you
the book
go.
that we're about to
That's
write.
all.
I just yeah, that's all. Let me just say this. There was a
Do
time,
uh-oh.
because I'm old school.
Mhm.
There was a time I used to really like Paul Pierce, right? And I had seen him at a party in New York City. And the way he looked on TV and his vibe that you got, out in the streets, it just turned me off. So I mean, no disrespect to him, whatever, but we all getting older, and he had a look, and now it's like, so now he's talking this like the worst kind of advice you can give to young men today, or men period. Like okay, don't let me get started.
Right.
And
That's
I
the
don't know
worst
if he meant
advice.
it as a joke, like was he joke, maybe he was joking, I don't know, but obviously he's talking from experience, but like, how dare you give that type of advice, like go cheat and see how she reacts. Really?
What?
We out here playing these type of games. You grown ass Paul Pierce. You it is he? Yep, he's 48 years old.
That's a grown man right there. A grown man with man child ways of thinking and moving.
Pretty much.
That's very man child of you. But it was
Get
so
get
much of
get
a double
that.
take for me that I had to be like, wait, is he? Wait, what did he just? I had to like replay it 3 times and make sure that like he he was serious. He was like, yeah, go ahead and see. And I'm like, wow, like, and the term fuck boy.
Hmm.
I don't like that term. I
But
don't
it
even like to
applies
use
here.
it.
But if ever there was what?
But if there was ever a time to call a
If
48
it
year
if it
old,
needed a definition, a definitive
his
person,
face is right there with the sunglasses on. I
boom
was like,
bow.
ooh, that's the one. He just let you know, like, I'm out here to play games with you, just to
No,
see if you
he
love
he
me.
is here. I'm here to play games with
Just
you.
to see, just to see if you love me. Let me squeeze his clown nose. Wonk wonk.
Oh.
Like, just to see, just to see if you love me. Some dudes be like, I know my girl love me, and I still cheat. There's a man out there right now. I know
Whew.
she love me. I still can't stop
I
cheating.
can't even, I don't even know what to say with that. I don't even know. All right.
That's all I got. I mean, I can go on and
Can
on, but
we,
that
can
was
we
that
get
was
off
a
Paul Pierce? Get off the timeline.
was that good and ratchet for you?
It was. All
All
right,
right.
moving on.
So let's get
What
woke,
you
shall
got?
we?
Let's awaken. What
Yeah,
you
so
got?
shall we? So remember, party people, join our TwistPod fam on Supercast for only $4.99 monthly, live shows and exclusive access to our private Facebook group. Link is
Mm-hmm.
in the notes. So we always
Yes.
say that's what we got to let you know. $4.99. Let's get with it. So
All
this
right.
kind of caught my eye because I've worked with kids for many, many years, and autism is a mystery. So with that being said, the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, has filed a lawsuit accusing Kenvue, the maker of Tylenol, and its former parent company, Johnson and Johnson, of misleading consumers about the safety of the popular pain reliever during pregnancy. So apparently Tylenol is supposed to be the safest drug that pregnant women can take during their pregnancy. And now what they're saying is that it's it's connected to autism and ADHD. So when I saw this headline, I was like, "Uh-oh, they finally found a reason." So Kenvue is an American consumer health company, formerly the consumer healthcare division of Johnson and Johnson. So Kenvue owns brands such as Aveeno, Band-Aid, Benadryl, Zyrtec, Johnson's, Listerine, Lactaid, Mylanta, Neutrogena. I can go on and on. So these are
Mm-hmm.
all products
Mm-hmm.
that we all use, right? So they filed this lawsuit saying that basically this company has been misleading the consumers, and this pain reliever not being honest that it's connected to autism. Now, I know that the US Food and Drug Administration recently said it is beginning a process to change Tylenol's labeling. So the change would note that prenatal acetaminophen use may be associated with an increased risk of certain developmental disorders, ADHD and autism being one of them. So there's been this back and forth, and now we have RFK, and he's on the Trump administration. And at one point, he was saying that it's irresponsible of women to take Tylenol, and now he's kind of doubling down, saying that there's no definite link to autism. You know, whatever's been happening, we're all like, "What's going on here?" There's no definite link, but there is some type of suggestive. He's saying it's very suggestive, though. It's not definite, but it's very suggestive to autism.
Mm-hmm.
So he's also stated that autism is an epidemic and that it's worse than COVID. And there's no reason why we don't have better reasoning as to why it even exists and what are the connections for it. So I had to like go back and do some research on this because I work with children and autism, and I'm kind of deeply rooted in the misunderstandings of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you remember, but they used to say that autism was caused by vaccinations
Mm-hmm.
that kids had to get some
Vaccines,
time
yep.
ago,
Heard
right?
that.
And I've
Mm-hmm.
talked to people who have told me themselves that their children have had different symptoms after their vaccinations.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Yeah.
after my vaccination, my child, it was just very sad to hear some of these things that happened. And
One of
at
the
one
reasons
time,
why I did not have your nephew vaccinated when he was a baby. A lot of the vaccines I did not,
okay,
you know, did
so
not do
and now at
because
that
of that.
time, was your feeling that it's because it's connected to autism, or was there other health
No,
reasons?
it's just I'm a number of things. I think, you know, for me, hearing this Tylenol lawsuit, which I think is great. I hope it's the state of Texas. I hope they win it. But I think this conversation it hits different because of the history that our community has with companies making medications and kind of downplaying the risk and not telling us what they're supposed to be used for. It's like we've seen this before. Transparency is just seems like that is a hot button. It's transparency is like it's the movable button here.
Mhm.
It makes me think of the Tuskegee experiment. Remember,
Mhm.
we studied that, we read about that, where
Mhm.
basically black men with syphilis in Alabama, and they were told that they were getting treatment, and in fact they were not treated. And even though they could have just been given penicillin, and penicillin could have cured them, but the doctors, they watched them slowly die, go blind and sick. And this is not something that happened like 300 years ago. Like this happened during our grandparents' lifetime. You
Mhm.
know, it makes me think of Henrietta Lacks. Same thing, where a black woman's uh, cancer cells were taken and they were used for treatment, which every single person on this planet has probably benefited from the Henrietta Lacks cells, which were used without her knowledge, without her permission. And it wasn't until I think just 2 years ago that her family that it was even acknowledged
Yes.
that her cells were the foundation of modern medical research and that they were even compensated. I think that happened like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
So
we talked about it. Mhm.
I even remember the back in like the 2000s. And okay, so remember this. There was a time when every black girl was told when she got out the shower, or when you want to feel fresh, what did you put on? Do you remember?
Powder, deodorant.
Exactly, talcum
Mhm.
powder, baby
Mhm.
powder, talcum powder. That was a
Mhm.
big thing, and they pushed baby powder in the black communities. That I remember seeing the signs and the advertisements. You remember that for talcum powder. Then come find out that it was causing ovarian cancer, specifically in black women. And that was because there was no transparency. They were not obviously downplaying the risks, for the sake of pockets. So just hearing this is like we have been down this road before. I can go on.
Right.
Depo Provera. That
Yep.
was a birth control when I was in high
Depro
school,
Depravera.
and
Mm-hmm.
they were pushing that for
Mm.
for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so convenient. You can get it in your arm, I think, or was it a
Mm-hmm.
shot or
Yeah.
something? It was very heavily
The
encouraged
NuvaRing too.
in the black communities. And again, it was not fully disclosed the fertility issues that it was causing, the mood changes, the bone loss, all of these issues that it could have just been a warning label, but they chose not to. So when it comes to the trust that our community has with the with big business, medical, the company, it has been eroded, and I don't even think it's there like that. um
Right.
so many different things. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think. There was a TV show that I watched where this was the oxycodone time. And
Mm-hmm.
man, I remember having oxycodone,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I'll never take it again, because
Mm-hmm.
it made me feel like I can walk on a broken leg. I remember that, and that I could like
Ooh.
fly. I was like, I'm never taking that. But
Mm-hmm.
that was another
It's
one
being put
where
out like that.
the risks were not just fully disclosed,
Mm-hmm.
and they were making addicts out of people. This is
Mm-hmm.
before fentanyl. So
Mm-hmm.
you know
Don't
I'm
believe the
hearing
hype.
this.
So, well, let me just read this to you and let me just tell you where I stand on it. So, RFK basically says the autism epidemic is running rampant. So, he says the numbers are up significantly. 1 in 31 American children born in 2014 are disabled by autism. So, listen to this.
One in how many?
1 in 31 American children
Hmm.
born in 2014, right? So, going back.
Mm-hmm.
He said that's up significantly from 2 years earlier and nearly 5 times higher than when the CDC first started running autism surveys in children born in 1992. All right. So there's a prevalence for boys in an astounding 1 in 20. And in California, it's 1 in 12.5. So he goes on to say Trump has rooted him, to go out and find out, and it's an epidemic. Needs to, okay, whatever. So the new ADDM report was conducted in 2022 across 16 sites in the US and surveyed children aged 8 years born in 2014. This latest autism prevalence is 4.8 times higher than the first ADDM survey 22 years ago, when the prevalence was 1 in 150 children. So you see how these numbers keep increasing across the board? So now we have 1 in 150 children versus 1 in 31 children. Hold on now. This is too much. Then we go on to say the minority children were severely affected. Black, Asian, and Hispanic children in the 2022 survey had higher overall ASD prevalence.
Mm.
3.66%, 3.82%, and 3.30%, respectively, than white children, 2.77%, and were also more likely to have a more severe form of autism. Among Black, Asian, and Hispanic children, 78.9%, 66.5%, and 63.9%, respectively, had either severe or borderline ID, compared to 55.6% of whites. So I'm going to tell you that I'm seeing this and I don't believe it.
Why?
I don't believe. I know that there's a disparity and there's a difference, when it comes to, they're saying that they use a survey across, culture and demographic. When I worked in the system, what I'm going to tell you, when I was there, what
Mm-hmm.
I would recognize was autism was amongst white males,
Mm-hmm.
cutters were amongst white females, then you have everything else from bipolar to depression to suicide across the board. But when it came to those two things, those are just things that I noticed just being in a very diverse Bergen County area.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, I watched autism increase so significantly, where it almost seemed 1 in 5 kids had autism. And you know what they were? They were white males. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until these past 5 years I recognized more Black and Latinos with autism. Not to say not to say now they're diagnosing it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't believe that whites are the 55.6%. That's just not, and we're 78.9. We as in Black, that's just, I'm looking at this, I just don't believe it.
Mm.
And we have to consider that what is being reported.
Who right? Who's reporting?
That so it's always a sense of compared to whites. Why is a survey always compared to whites?
Mm.
As if we
Mm.
can't just say kids across the board. Why do we always have to put the, so it's always it's so it's a little frustrating because I already see that there is some segregation here in how they're surveying. So if you're telling me 1 in 31 children, 1 in 20 boys, 1 in 121 girls, but you're separating it from blacks to whites, come on now. All I can see is that autism is rampant. Do you not see that?
Mm. I mean, I don't want to I don't try to diagnose, when they talk about the spectrum, that means like anybody
Now
can
it's now we
fall.
can't say Asperger's anymore. Now we have to say spectrum because there's so many forms of it.
Hmm.
Because there's no cure for it. But autism is such a mystery that when I see that they're linking it to Tylenol, I'm like, okay, finally. Because to me, they're just looking for a reason. There's no
Mm.
rhyme or reason. First, they wanted to, they're even relating it to older parents.
Hmm. I've
That's
heard that.
that's a thing too. What is it? The accumulation of the sperms producing cells constantly dividing in a man's life, and the division and the opportunity of the genetic mutation does occur. So there is something significant to a man's sperm. Then you have the paternal aspect of it as well. Anyway, I'm no doctor. The moral of the story is that sounds like they finally found a reason, and they want to say it's Tylenol. And I feel like even if they're making it up,
Hmm.
they found a reason because autism is the biggest mystery, but yet it is increasing rapidly.
Mm. Mm. Well, I think one of the things that now that they've putting the blame on Tylenol, or at least saying it, like
It's a
it's just another reason to stay vigilant, and not take what the medical field is saying at face value. You really have to do your own research and
Mhm.
get second opinions. And just because a doctor is saying it or a label is saying it doesn't make it 100% true and real.
Well, that's true. That's true. However, this is one of those things where the earlier the better.
The
The
earlier
the
what?
the earlier you know,
Mm.
the better you can react, the better you can improve quality of life. Versus some people who avoid. So this was like you said, this the staying vigilant and not really believing everything you see. That's got to be tough.
That's gonna be important. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so that was it with that autism. Boy, oh boy. Also, briefly, as we know, we have the government shutdown, and it was a thing. We talked about it on our last show, and our last show we talked about the SNAP benefits being cut this upcoming first of the month, and hopefully they come to some type of agreement. What's going to happen. And as of right now, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I wanted to know what's going on with these flights because they're saying that the aviation administration will cut air traffic by 10% across 40 major U.S. markets starting Friday morning to maintain safety amid the ongoing government shutdown. So, I saw something where this woman was like, "We haven't been paid." She's like, "We were, I have kids. I'm at the pantry." Like these stories keep coming up of people who are coming to work but they're not getting paid. So the agency is facing growing staff shortages as air traffic controllers continue working without pay, with an increasing number of calling out sick, causing widespread flight delays.
Hmm.
So that's scary for traveling. I was watching some award show and they're like, she couldn't be here because of flight delays. Like it's a thing. It
I don't
is a
know.
big
Well,
thing.
I guess because when we went to Vegas I mean, I haven't seen it, thank God. But you're saying is that this Friday they're going to be a 10% leaner out
Yeah.
there. So it's a fact, and we were talked about this, that it's affecting everywhere. This government shutdown, the SNAP benefits being decreased or not coming in November. This is going to it's a trickle down effect. It's going to affect everyone as we're seeing. So.
Hmm.
All right, can we get some? I'm ready for some weekend D.
Go for it.
All right, look.
Let's do it.
All right, y'all. So this is going to be a little different for the Weekend D, but if you have a comment or question for the Weekend D report, leave us a voicemail. Go to our link tree. That's linktree/twistpod. Scroll to the bottom and just click leave a voice message. So where we at? Where we at? Where we at?
Where we at? We're at
We're at
the
the
we're at
Weekend
the weekend D.
D.
Yes, yes. All
Yeah.
right,
So
y'all.
look. All right, so this is a little different. Like I said, each week we will be unpacking a chapter from our upcoming book. It's tentatively called The Player's Heartbreak Handbook, which Shatara and I are calling a survival guide for the heart, your wallet, and your peace. So we're writing this book for anybody who has loved hard and learned harder, because sometimes the lessons hit before the healing. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again.
Each week, we'll be unpacking a chapter of our upcoming book, The Player's Heartbreak Handbook. So tonight's chapter is called Welcome to the Circus. You're the ringmaster, not the clown. How to
Mm-hmm.
keep your crown, your coins, and your common sense, ladies. So let's get into it. All right, here she goes. Hey, ladies, I love the show. I really need y'all help with this one. So, I've been dating this guy for about 3 months. He's really charming. We laugh. He says he likes me, all of that. But here's the issue. He only makes plans last minute. Like he'll text me at 9:45 at night talking about what you doing. I want to see you. Now, this is the thing. I know those what you do in text. I actually like to plan. I like dates with time, outfits, reservations, like an adult. But because I like him and I don't want to mess it up, I drop whatever I'm doing and I go. I keep telling
Mm-hmm.
myself, well, at least he wants to see me. So my question is, am I being flexible and going with the flow, or am I playing myself? Like, is this soft life or is this clown makeup? Please help. Da dum.
All right.
What say you? What say you?
So pulling from the chapter from the book that we are writing, let's set the scene here. So, how is she ending up in the circus? Because obviously there's a circus and you have a ringmaster, and then what do we know the circus for? Circus has clowns. So, sis, not calling you a clown, but you did bring it up. I mean, she said, is clown makeup, even though she wants the soft life. And this is something that I find, a lot of women, and I'm not including men, but let's talk to the women here. The circus is when the dynamic in the relationship is like you are already on a stage and you're already performing, and already you're overgiving. So that behavior of not really staying true to you, because in the one sense, sis, you said, I like dates. I like, call me, let's make dinner reservations. I I had a friend recently where we were just kind of conversating, kind of catching up, and we were talking about going to lunch. And I said, yeah, he said, okay, let me look at my calendar right then and there. And then I get the text of the dinner reservation within like 5 minutes. And and I had to like, give him a little like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, like
Appreciate
I
it.
appreciate that. So
Mm-hmm.
sis, this is what you're saying. You want that adult life, but I mean, you didn't say whether you were sexual with the dude, but I'm gonna assume that y'all, because you said you like him, so I'm gonna assume there's a little bit of digmatization going on. So you jumping at 9:45 at night with a WTD message, with WYA, or what
What
you
you
doing,
doing?
or
What you doing? Message.
what WYD or whatever it is. Like that kind of text
Mm-hmm.
where you get up out of your bed and put your lashes back on.
Oh, oh, not the
I mean,
lashes.
and I know because I've been
Mm.
there and
Mm-hmm.
I've done that. But you have to decide who has access to you. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, we start putting on, you be in the mirror, putting on the makeup, putting on the clown nose, right? When you are looking for some sort of validation from this dude, and that's what it sounds like. You already, it's I'm waiting for the Ringling Brothers. I'm waiting for the greatest show on earth, because that's what's happening here. I mean, Shazara.
Well. I Now, if you find yourself going through his social media to see like where he's at and what he's doing, who is he with? That's a problem. That's the circus right there. When you find yourself looking through your text messages or waiting for those bubbles to come up to see the response, That's a circus right there. It's a little mind fuck going on. Or if you find yourself really asking, what's really going on with us? Does he really, I don't think he likes me like that. It's not that deep. Or always I'm in a situationship. What is a situationship? What is that? You always want to know how deep is somebody in to you and with you for you to be jumping up out of your bed, because that's not considerate. So it is a big circus.
So, what ways can you tell if you are kind of messing or kind of dipping your toe in the clown behavior?
You
Oh, girl.
compromise.
Okay.
You start compromising.
Well, I think one of the things is you start negotiating the basics. And I think she laid out what the basics were for her. Like, I want to be an adult. I want to go on dates. I want to, I want to put on my heels. I get you, sis. But at the same time, dude gets to call you at 9:45 at night and you like, what's up? So you start negotiating those basics, your time, your self-respect, the efforts that you're making. It's not there's not an even exchange here. And so your self-esteem gets uh, it starts being chipped away at because you're looking at this guy as, what is he offering you other than what you doing late at night? Because by then I'm sure he's probably had number one and number two. He's already knocked them off the list. Maybe they weren't available, so now you might be number two, three, or four by 9:45 at night. And I'm assuming this is during the week. And what's happening at 9:45 at night? You're not getting dressed to go to a nice restaurant. You're not probably going to the movies. You're not going on a date. He's probably going to come over and,
It's a booty call.
I mean, I think booty call started 9, 10 o'clock. What time do booty calls? Booty call started at 10, probably like
At,
10 and on.
after 8.
Or after, during the week, I'm sure like after 9 o'clock,
I'm a woman of
right?
a certain age, so I try to get in bed a little, or I try to have my face serum on a little earlier. I try to have my vitamins under my eyes by
So
about 9.
she's already putting herself in a really crazy position, and I know because I've been there, like especially when you like somebody and you just think, if I could be more accommodating for him, she's available. So I mean, that's, what greater thing can you be for a dude that has no consistency and is just to be available. So she's doing all these things in the hopes that he'll like her more, or at least he'll pay attention to her more, or at least he'll maybe graduate to the things that, just the basic things, sis, that you said that you wanted out of a relationship.
Mhm.
So this is where, you have to come back into your ringmaster role. That's what we're calling this. You want
Okay.
to take back your authority, right? Number one is your time is valuable,
Mhm.
and you're telling us, we assist, we sister girls, you telling us, my time is valuable, but still, I'm looking for this little bit of breadcrumb attention from dude.
Right.
So there's something wrong with there. It's like, you have to live in a space like, I don't chase, I attract. And
Right.
right now you chasing.
Right. So you have to be very, very consistent with yourself when it comes to time. Because if somebody's calling you when the sun goes down, and they're consistently calling you when the sun goes down, that's lack of consideration. And that's something that you got to think about. The only person that gets me out at times that I don't want to be out is a job. And don't nobody want to be at no damn job. You get what I'm like? That's the only time that I'm up and
Right?
at 'em, to punch a clock in reality. That's the one place. And the the shit I talk about a job. But I'm just saying, if he's not giving you that consideration and he doesn't bring you out when the sun is out, then that's where you have to be like, okay, this is not right. This is a whole show right here. Or even if you have to ask somebody for advice and be like, hey, listen, if I didn't hear from him in a couple days, you think he's really into me? Or what do you think? Or if you're asking for advice, those are red flags. Don't even do it.
Absolutely. So another thing I'm gonna say for you, sis, is that, you know, y- be very clear about what it is that you want. You already named it, and you are seeing clearly that he's not meeting that.
Right.
So either you're going to stay where you're at, you're going to stay in this connection that is not feeding your soul, is not giving you what you want, and you're going to just accept breadcrumbs because that's all it's ever going to be. Like, I have this thing of, you have to meet people where they are, and if he's showing you where he's at, he's already showing you. And that's the thing with men, because men and women, we speak different languages.
Mm-hmm.
But a man will show you. He'll tell you the truth, but he'll definitely show you. But you cannot go out here and hoping, like, people be building relationships on hope. I hope a nigga would. I hope he'll do this. I hope
Mm-hmm.
he'll get right.
Or
I'm
potential.
hoping this. Potential.
Yeah. Yep.
Look,
Mm-hmm.
I married potential, and I
Mm-hmm.
had to divorce that too, because
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, when potential don't it doesn't flourish. It doesn't. It's just there. It's a woulda, coulda, shoulda. And a
Damn.
lot of times, you know you want you want to meet somebody when you are at your 100%, right? And that person can reflect to you their 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are two whole people coming together. If
Mm-hmm.
you're over here taking 20, 30, 40%, hoping that eventually, he'll put his battery on a charger, and it'll go full. Never be in that situation. That's
Mm-hmm.
never put yourself in that situation. Be the ringmaster. Match that energy. Don't allow this person to suck your energy, and with the
Mm-hmm.
hopes of everything is going to get better because he's paying attention to me. No, pay attention to yourself. And
No.
yourself is telling you that you want so much more.
Right, because you're not asking for a lot. If you really look at it, you say, I like dates with time. I like outfits. I like to make reservations like an adult. That's just saying, in terms of giving my time to somebody and enjoying each other's time together. That's really all you're saying. You're not asking for a lot. If somebody makes you feel like that's a lot, then they're not for you. And it's just a matter of time before you can actually say, you know what? I could have backed out of this a long time ago, because you're asking for simple things. It's not really too much.
Right. Shatara, was there ever a moment? Did you ever have a clown moment in your own life?
Yeah. I was dressed and ready to go. That's right. 10:22 on the dot every Thursday,
Oh
Friday.
boy.
10:22. And it was like, happy to get the call. Happy to get the call, happy to be like, yeah, 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 no. I was up.
Wipe the cold out my eye. What?
Huh?
You
Huh? I
awake?
was up.
Yeah.
I was up. No, I was just, watching, I was up, just, why, what's up? What's up with you? Why, what's up? you know?
Oh man, I mean, I've had those moments. I have had those moments where I felt like, you know what? Let me go and get my little clown nose and put it on, because
This is crazy.
I remember there was a moment, like, I talked to myself in the car because I'm driving 2-3 hours to go in the middle of the night to go
Mhm.
with. I
Mhm.
can't even I can't even believe myself
It was
sometimes.
it
Like,
was Boo Boo the Fool and Boo Boo the
ooh,
Fool.
I was like, with a teaspoonful of gas, like, I'm
What am I
burning
doing?
burning that road up, like, because I just, for that little, that I mean, the breadcrumb, obviously, that little bit of attention. And
Yeah.
what snapped me out of it was just, it was talking to myself, like, now what are you doing, girl? And had I actually told some of my girlfriends what I was doing, because that was another thing, it's clown behavior. So you
Da-na-na-na-na.
might not tell
Da-na-na-na-na. Don't
you
tell.
might not tell your homegirls. You might not say, like, you know what, this is just between me and God, and my car, and to his door, and that's it. Cause I know I'm gonna get torn out for this one. I'm
And
not even telling nobody.
and
That's how you know.
but you know what's messed up? Once you come to in your mind, you think the person who he was really into, he wouldn't let her get on the road that late. He wouldn't let, sometimes that's where my mind would go. I'd be like, you know
Mhm.
what? If you was really my protector and you was into me like that, you wouldn't even it wouldn't be okay with you that I'm crossing this bridge. It wouldn't be okay with you that
I'm driving
here
110
I go.
miles.
This wouldn't even be okay. Right? Yeah, and after a while, that's when you have to realize, like, so I'm really not it. I'm just not it. No, this can't be it. You could do better. Sir, your mother raised you better. You could do better. You have a cabinet. You have an arsenal of many, and I'm just one of them.
There you go.
Let me remove myself. But being young and dumb is a good time.
It is a good time. Yes, yes, it absolutely just mm-mm.
Were you young and
But
dumb, or were you grown and stupid at that time?
no, I was young and dumb. I'll say that.
That's a good time. It's a
Yeah,
good time. You
yeah.
get an easy
That's a
pass
good
for that.
time.
You get a
That's
season
a good
pass.
time. Mm-hmm.
But I have played the grown and stupid before. I'm not even gonna sit here and act like I'm
Yeah,
holier than thou.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have.
Once upon a time,
I
you
have
know.
been.
But now, I want to be like, not my monkeys, not my circus, not my monkeys.
But to have these stories and these memories, it just gives you such good leather on your skin, on your back.
Who
Gives you
wants
such
to
a
have a
good.
leathery back?
But you know what I mean when I say leather. It's an analogy, people. It just gives you good tough skin that you need for this game. You need that tough skin for this game. It is no joke. You can't be one of those spineless, oh, woe is me, and I'm staying in bed. I've never come. Nah, you got to be able to shake that shit off, like Mariah Carey said. So I'm glad I got the leather on my back. I'm glad I have those testimonies to tell. I'm glad about it, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I talk to women who are maybe a little younger than me or my age, and they're doing the shit that I did. I'd be like, where you been? You just got your heart broke, girl. Oh, I'd be like, oh man. Or you just now sneaking out, you just now figuring out how to live the girl. So I'm glad that
You got it out the way.
I was a hot
Hot, hot,
ass.
hottie.
I was a hot ass. I heard what
Oh,
y'all
you
said
got
about
it out
me.
the way.
That's somebody's son. That's right. He's with that hot ass.
Mm. So this is what I want sis to do. I want her to write down her boundaries and then enforce them. Because in this situation, this is not soft life situation, Chip. It's not. So I want her to be clear about what it is that you want. You sound like you were pretty clear, and then enforce that. And you know what? If he can't meet those boundaries and those standards that you're setting, then he is not the one. And it's simple. There's so much dick out here. I promise you. So much dick out here. So much.
Yeah. That is attached to picking you up on time, making reservations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That comes with a nice little setup. So right here, I need you, sis. This Ringling Brothers. This is get up out of this one.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. It's not what you want. Have
stop it.
get one more hit just for fun.
Thanks for
Get
the memories, and then hit the road.
get one more hit and get out of there.
Oh, someone said, stop letting people audition for roles in movies they're not qualified for.
Yeah, that's
Mm,
it.
there
Because
you
if
go.
not, because if not, you become their co-star, and that's not what you want.
There you go. Or
Mm-mm.
extra.
Mm-mm. Or background. I'll go deeper on you.
Just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm.
All right.
Whew. All right. So look, we're now at.
The jam.
That's my jam.
It's your
That's my
jam.
jam. Let me just tell you. I'm going to take y'all back to 1985 to songs from the Big Chair by Tears for Fears.
Yay.
Oh my gosh. So, Tears for Fears was this group where back in the day there was this British synth pop invasion. So, I mean, it
Mm.
was a time I remember they were playing Tears for Fears on WBLS. Do you remember
Mm.
that? I don't know if you remember that, but I remember that. I mean, they were mixing it in. It was
With like Boy
WBLS
George,
with
maybe.
all of it. The Boy
Mm.
George, the Tears for Fears, so all of this. So Tears for Fears made these very catchy songs, but they were actually like very deep because even the name Tears for Fears, it comes from a theory in a psychology book which says that the idea that childhood wounds shape how we love, how we fight, and how we move in the world, which is deep. So they named, these are two, look, Roland Orsball and Kerr Smith, but both came from broken homes in Bath, England, and they formed this group. So, Shatara, you know how much I love Tears for Fears, so much so that you and I went to Vegas last week to go and see them live in concert, not knowing it, like we said, it was a whole No Limit Soldier Cash Money festival going on. But I went to see my
We
boys.
weren't there for that. No, sir. Not even a little bit.
I went to go see Tears for Fears. So my song is Everybody Wants to Rule the World. I remember listening to this song. I was, probably not 8, 9, 10 years old. And, it was, even then it caught me because the melody, but now I listen to it, and especially going to the concert, it confirmed for me. It had such a, first of all, it had such a deep meaning for me because it confirmed for me everything that I have survived in my life, good, bad, and different, the crazy times, just everything. The song for me brings a lot of joy. I don't know if you saw, I had tears in my eyes. It was tears because it brings back a lot of memories, of a time, our grandparents, our father, our family, the family dynamic. So, that was the music I was listening to. Like I said, amongst, LL Cool J and I was all hip hop,
And
but
KRS-One.
all of it. But I was also, into these ballads that they were singing, and it really just it was, like I said, it was so nostalgic for me because I am at a place now, and maybe you feel that, I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm listening to this music and it's like I have lived long enough to understand it, to understand
Whoa.
the words. And that's for me, like, that's the flex for me. It's like getting to this
Mm.
place of maturity
Wow.
where, I have peace, and I don't have to prove anything to the world. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. I have it's my peace. So, when I hear like, welcome to your life,
Mm.
there's no turning back. Even while we sleep, we will find you acting on your best behavior.
Not me.
Turn your back on Mother Nature. Everybody wants to rule the world.
Oh, that was lovely. Thanks for the tunes. How you like it, 1 to 10?
I loved it.
That was good.
I loved it.
That
It
was good.
was it was so powerful for me. I don't know how you feel about it, but it was powerful for me.
It was good. It was a good time. It was like, oh shoot, that song, that song, that song. And again, I knew the hits, but when they started going into, their current music, I was like, this is still good music. I had to give them that. This is still good music. So I have a very diverse palette for music, and I would say the same thing about you. So I'm actually glad that I'm not just, in this stuck of like I only listen to hip hop. I only listen to like that's not who I am. I'm very diverse with it. So I'm glad that we were able to enjoy that.
Absolutely. Such a good time. Loved it. Tears for Fears.
Yay.
Everybody wants to rule the world, and it's so relevant even today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even today.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Listen to the words. He's talking. He's talking some good
So
stuff.
poetic.
Some
So
good
poetic. So I
substance.
can
Substance.
I can go on and on about Tears for
All
Fears.
right.
It was my that was definitely on my bucket list. That was
Yup.
definitely doing something on my bucket list
We
and
were there,
achieving.
y'all. The only brown girls in the audience just
That was
rocking out.
fine. We
We
were
was
there.
rocking out.
There were the other, they had no, the main, one of the singers, the backup singer, she was black.
She was black, and there was one lady with braids in the audience. I saw her in the elevator, and I made sure I said hi to her, and that was it. And that's okay. It wasn't. Nobody made us feel like go home, black. Nobody made us feel no way. We were just fine where we were at. But there was a little bit of a, are we at the right place? I heard the man next to us. He was like, are we at the wrong concert? Did you hear him?
No, I didn't hear that.
Good. I'm glad you didn't hear him. But then we shared birthdays with different people, so that was fun.
That was fun. Yes, I loved it so much. I could talk everywhere. Anyway,
Yay.
all right, y'all. Guess what?
Wah.
We have come to the end. So if you've learned something, you've laughed, or you side eyed somebody today, please follow That's What I'm Saying in your podcast app and turn on automatic downloads. It's free and it helps us to keep making the show. Also, If you got a little messy question for the Weekend Z Report, or you want to be a guest on the show, leave us a voicemail. Anonymous is fine. Just open the link tree, link in the notes, scroll to the bottom, leave a voice message.
Yes, y'all. And become a member of the Twist Pod fam. Being a member means you'll get access passes to a monthly live show that's only for our members. Plus, you'll also get access to the Twist Pod fam. There's a private Facebook group where members can interact with each other and with us, the host, of course. So there's exclusive access to monthly giveaways, members only live Q&A, sessions and shout outs, and voting power on future episodes, topics, and guests. So that's a big deal. All this for what? What I always say, $4.99. And what is that? Nothing.
All right, y'all. And brands, tap our link tree and hit sponsor us, and we can get you in. And also follow us on Instagram at TwizPod.
And one more thing. If you want to keep up to date on all my upcoming comedy shows, as well as our podcasts and live TV events, go into the link tree /twistpod. Go to my website at shataraCurry.com. And as always, we thank you all for listening. We so appreciate you. Stay
yes.
healthy, stay well. Till next time. Peace.
Peace, y'all.